Hi, and welcome to this week's adventure, an intellectual adventure podcast. We're happy to have you here, and this is going to be our second part in the survival topic that we're kind of talking over, and we found it was way too much to break down in even 3 hours, so we wanted to come back to that subject and really have a good, fresh start to the off-the-grid topic and kind of the mental awareness that goes into the survival around it. We'll go ahead and start with asking Chad, how's everything going for you today?
Everything's going pretty well. Excited to get to talk on this topic again. I missed the last session, but not on this topic though. But this topic's got me going, so I'm excited to talk about this topic.
Nice. Yeah, that almost sounds like a tongue twister right there.
I know, right?
Kind of stoking me. What's happening in your world? Are you doing all right?
I'm doing pretty good, trying to keep the veggie garden alive, keep the deer out of it and the water in it. Other than that, cleaned up the hangar, pulled the plane out and gave it a bath. Did not take it up for a flight though. Would have loved to do that, but I could get in trouble if I do that. So I have a few more things to do before I can do it legally.
Well, very nice.
But yeah, she come out and got a bath and went back in and sitting prominent right in the middle of the hangar.
That's awesome.
No.
Yeah, I needed to do that. It's been a long time.
That's good. Yeah, that's very good to hear. Well, we have a new guest today with us, Fanta Light. And this man's an Aussie I dragged in here today to help join in on the discussion we have with the off-grid. How you doing today?
Hey boys, how's everything? Name's Aziz. Today's alright. Same old. Back to work tomorrow. And excuse if my knowledge on the outback isn't the best, even though I come from a country that's known for the outback, and I do own farms in the outback. But life in Australia, it's very fast-paced and it's more focused on work and in the city. So even though I own acreage and I have farms, I'm actually rarely up there myself.
Man, do you enjoy doing the farming?
Honestly, I love it because when I get up there, I completely forget all my problems in the city. And just sitting and listening to the leaves, listening to the wind, it's actually very soothing and calming. And like I said, you forget about all your problems. And then once you close the gate and you hit on the road, as you get closer to the city, all your problems start coming back to your mind, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You understand. I mean, that's kind of how the mountains feel when you go up there and you just disappear in the tops. There's so much nature surrounding you. It can be dangerous in and of itself if you lose track of time. But nothing like the outback. Yeah, that is some crazy terrain out there. Just the weather, but it's good to have you here. And it's convenient timing because our other guest that's joining at this time is joining us now. How you doing, NT?
To be honest, I'm sweating because I'm in the heat down here in beautiful Kansas. Yeah, we got pretty much more humidity than heat, I think, down here. So,
yep.
Dude, humidity is what kills me. That's what gets me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I've heard it's pretty humid.
Yeah. I could tell you about the past week, it was worse. When we had the heat indexes and all that, things issued.
Yeah, it didn't even get as hot as I thought it would this last week here. But I saw that there was waves of it coming a little bit. And I think this next week it's moving a little further in. It's going to hit us like midweek. But that could be... Weather's one of those things that always shifts a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they play with it too much.
But hey, I'm prepared. I got water and I got Gatorade at my disposal when arms reach.
Good. No, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good to have you here. that timing was impeccable. You really nailed it. Today's subject with the off-grid topic is going to be pretty exciting, I feel. Let's go ahead and move into the comments. Get the vinyl records displayed. Chad, do you have a vinyl you'd like to share today?
Sure thing. I saw this one today, and gosh, no, I'm a big Rush fan. I love that Rush tells a really they just always in each of their albums tell a very nice story that's fun to just sort of follow along with as you listen. It's one of those albums that I love listening to in the order that they present inside of their own album, inside of their own collection. I love listening to it front to back. I don't always do that with every artist because it doesn't always make a huge difference, but getting to listen to the rock and roll that these guys put down when they put it, when they came out with it.
Oh yeah.
Can't get better than Rush. Love having them on vinyl. Super cool.
Yeah, Rush is sweet, man.
And yeah, some of their songs are End of Days inspired.
Quite.
Yeah, pretty spooky how much music correlates with life at times. Even when it's like old, predates the information.
Yeah. That's what's almost really funny too, and fun is like listening to a song that's maybe not as popular or you haven't heard in a little bit, and then listening to it and just thinking like, man, this was written in 1970 some odd, and it's so tying into exactly what's going on right now, and like it's still relevant to how we feel as humans, as a population, as a culture.
I definitely feel like even looking back at Beethoven and Bach and some of the pieces back then, like just the power when you think about the naval warfare that's going on and the line warfare, like there's so much pride and ego tossed in the field in those days. Like it just shows in their music too. Like it's bolsterous, it's broad, it's no joke. Like those are
somewhat futuristic.
Yeah.
Somewhat
There's
futuristic.
a reason why they're still on the radio. Like when you really think about that, this is something that's so old, still cycles.
I seen them 3 times, and
in live orchestra,
live on stage. Yeah, Wrigley Field was one of them back
Right.
in the 80s.
Nice.
But yeah.
But yeah, what about you, Jeff? What vinyl do you have to share?
Well, I have the Dirt Band, American Dream.
Oh, it's very neat art.
Cut in 1979. There's the back. Let's see if I can.
Nice.
Kind of plain. The graphics are like the old roadside gas stations, but it's nothing but a facade. And I believe the intent of the album was to, the American dream is nothing but a facade. Here's the inner sleeve.
Oh yeah,
Nice. That's a good inner sleeve.
that is a good sleeve.
It's in pretty good shape.
Very
Yeah,
It
it
was
doesn't look too, like,
dedicated
worn
to
down.
Mrs. Ella Russello is who this album was dedicated to.
nice.
And then there's your playlist.
Well, very nice. For the sake of time, we're gonna move forward because I don't want to delay too much on our music. We could dive into this because the whole facade part of that is sick.
I turned 18 in '79, so I was into not only Rush but the Dirt Band and all the other rock and rollers.
So I think you guys matched it well.
Yeah.
Rode up in the city in Chicago, and I've been trying to get into the country like Fanta my whole life.
Nice. Yeah,
I
this
feel the
one
same
is.
way, kinda.
Yeah, this Rush album is from 1974.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah, I was listening to it in high school.
yeah. Oh, I love it. Thanks for the share, guys. And is there anything you'd like to introduce about yourself, NT, that you didn't get a chance to about the off the grid topic?
Well, I pretty much messaged you on Discord. I don't have much of idea, but at the same time, I have a huge idea on how things would work and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty much all I know of.
No, I think it'll be interesting to have your perspective coming into it.
I mean, most of what I do is I just think of scenarios, just scenarios in my mind. If that happened, what then would I do or whatnot?
All right.
Exactly.
I pretty much get people complaining I think too negative, and I say no, I'm just thinking realistically.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're a realist. That's why we get along. So let's go ahead and move into engagement outpost. If there's any resources that you have to bring to the table today, Chad, would you like to present anything?
Well, I had it near me in the last show, but I have that. There's a book that I like. Yeah, I don't have it next to me, but
Oh, did you show it in the last show?
I did show it in the last show.
Yeah, then it's in
the ether. It's in the
last show. Yeah.
Yeah. But either
I
way,
saw it.
that book, and then as well as YouTube rabbit holes and resources involving off grid that you can sort of sift through. Good ones to start with would be like Sensible Prepper and City Prepping. Like those ones are pretty nice for like common people who just want to get into it on not too much money. Those are great resources for things that you can do to prepare yourself or prepare your home.
Good way to start this.
City preppers need a different outlook than the country preppers do, for sure.
No, it's true. He does actually give an interesting perspective on how to do things with limited space and like nosy neighbors.
Yeah. Nosy, like want to break in and kill you and take all your stuff.
Yeah, or like walk up to the fence. Hey man, what are you doing? There's a lot of rainwater collection you got going on there. Like,
what are you gonna do with it all?
Yeah. Oh, you think the grid's gonna fail? Whoa.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately,
go for it.
I was going on, and unfortunately, with the way how the grid's just holding them by what, duct tape and bubble gum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much do have to be prepared now these days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the grid is not the most stable infrastructure. I think everyone's pretty familiar with that at this point. That it's you can't exactly that, like, rely on it to steadily provide for you at 100% capacity of what your lifetime might be. Like there's definitely a good point or a good chance that in your life the power's going to be out.
Right.
You're going to have to do something. Like, even if that's a week without power, if you have certain things going on, you definitely, I mean, if you can't run pumps, say, in certain situations, you need that kind of equipment to be running. So, yeah, knowing how to manage power is one of the strongest elements of off-grid survival that I think the other ones that we talked about in the last session quickly get swept under the rug with. It's like the step up is how do you maintain a livable environment.
Yeah, and I can actually, I experienced back in 2020 about 7 days without power too. When we got hit with the derecho in 2020, we were not prepared.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean,
When you're not prepared for it.
All the food in the deep freeze in the fridge, they were gone. So yeah, so now that I pretty much got the power situation more, in quotation marks, under controlled, it's never going to be enough to power a whole house.
Right. It's like sometimes I feel like that's practically the most you can say sometimes with the resource available to us and the infrastructure in place is it's like we'll get it as close, like it's always going to be shaky at best no matter what, almost no matter what solution you come up with, but the solutions that you can come up with that aren't shaky are expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that said, Jeff, are there any resources you have directly to bring to the table today?
Yeah, to follow up what Inti was saying, even if you have a generator, sometimes you have to pick and choose which things. Like I'll plug my fridge and freezer in. Then if I got to take a shower, I'll plug my on-demand water heater in. My house doesn't have heat when the power goes out because the thermostat is connected to the electric of the house. So I can run the fan on the furnace with a generator. I just can't turn on the thermostat to make it fire the burner. So I have to come up with other ways to heat my house in the wintertime, which I think we touched on the sand batteries last show. So I'm continuing with the sand battery idea so that I can, I have a bunch of cast iron pans that are all rusty and warped that won't ever cook again. So I'll use those as part of my ballast to store and then release heat in the wintertime with sand batteries. So
Yeah, no, that's definitely one thing I think that was a great thing to touch on. So sand battery tech.
mm-hmm. The
Very
thing about
easy.
a generator is unless it's on demand, as soon as your power goes off, the generator comes on, and then you're running your generator when you don't necessarily need to.
Yeah.
I mean, your fridge and your freezer could go an hour or two without being plugged in as long as you're not opening it up. Everything, the temperature won't go up too far unless it's sitting in the sun in your garage or something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
It
But
all depends.
around here, there's a lot of homes that have an on-demand generator, and as soon as the power goes off, the generator comes out. Well, they're using fuel even though they may not need the power. But it's great if you're out on vacation and the power goes off, and it keeps your stuff in your fridge and your freezer from going bad. Inti's the second person that I've heard lost everything in their fridge and freezer. One guy was out of town for 10 days, so when he came back, it was rank. He had to do a total clean on everything because it was putrid. So
Yeah, that's bad.
there's pluses and minuses to generators, depending on what you have. On demand uses a lot of fuel, but it'll be there when you're not,
Right.
So
Well, Aziz, do you have any resources you'd like to add?
Yeah, well, over here, a lot of the boys that I know, they've got their farms. They just have a solar power setup with a battery pack. And we have a generator as well as a backup. So I've got a generator at my place, and I just use that to power up the fridge, the Esky. It's a refrigerator Esky. Regarding hot water and stuff, I just shower with cold water. It is what it is. I know you can buy water packs that have a little solar panel on it, and it heats up the water, and you can just hang it on a tree, have a shower with it. But look, you can't have all the luxuries, so you got to pick and choose. Regarding like how you said, the generator, you might use it for the hot water, switch it off for this, switch it off for that. Relocate the power to heat up some, power up other stuff. So I would say best bet, like all the guys I know, solar power is your best go. At least you can keep the refrigerator running. Regarding heat, now over here we don't have thermostats and stuff. I'll tell you now, the houses in Australia, they're colder inside than they are outside. It's freezing. I had a mate I work with, he's from Canada, and he told me, he's like, it snows where I'm from in Canada, yeah, I wear more layers here in Sydney than I was wearing in Canada. Like, it gets
That's
really
so
cold.
crazy.
It feels you in the bones. So I think like it just comes down to what area you're from and what you're used to. I'm over here, it gets really cold, but I can live off not needing a thermostat, use firewood. So for me, conserve the power to what you really, really do need it for, And regarding the luxuries of hot water and stuff, just how what we say here is have some concrete and toughen up. Have cold showers. You know? Have cold showers. An example, my place once I was having a shower with a water pack. The heated one ran out of water because my friend showered before. It was really cold. I told him, bro, just grab the jerry can, the water jerry can, and start pouring it over me. And I just did that in the open under a tree. It was freezing, but gotta suck it up. So like you gotta go back to the old roots, you know? Firewood. Yeah, conserve the fridge, the power to merely just the fridge, you know, we need it. If you can't, then you gotta stick to food that doesn't need refrigerating. Go to pickled food, you know, preserved food and stuff like that. Like you gotta completely change your lifestyle for it. You cannot get it to accommodate your lifestyle. So what I say is you gotta adapt to it. When there's no power off the grid, you can't expect to live the same lifestyle. You know, we're very privileged to how we live now, and we think that's how, if there's, you know, how can we keep living this way? Truth is, you can't keep living this way if, you know, power's out and all that stuff. You won't be able to sustain it. So you got to go back to the old roots.
Yeah. Yeah, and having access to the tools that can take you there is one degree that's important. Whether that be networking with people that, you know, maybe have more tools than you, and you see a mutual cause, like making a plan and at least setting something up.
Yeah. So like I'll give you an example. What I would do: get a dam built, right, on your acreage, get a water pump connected to it, get some solar panels on the roof, get some battery packs set up somewhere, link it. Even if it's a bunch of car batteries all linked up, you'll hold power and you'll be getting power throughout the day. And then that's where you got to pick and choose, what do I use the power for? You can't use it for everything. Let's be realistic. So what do you really need it the most for? Yeah, let's say the refrigerator. Heating, we got that sorted. Heating, you got firewood, you're in the bush, you got heaps of firewood around you. Shower, hot water, right, just jump in the shower, cold water, 5 minutes, wash your body down, soap your body. That's all you need. Lighting, worst case, they won't use much power, the lighting, if it's for one room. But you know what I mean? Like, you can make do with it.
Yeah, lighting was what I was thinking of, is like, to me, one of the things that logistically I would want to be able to have light, because that can increase my efficiency of like things that I can take care of throughout the day. Because if you're limited to when you actually have daylight, I mean, yes, in, you know, old ways, it's like, you know, you had candles, you had things, you had all sorts of ways to utilize that daylight. But that was just one thing I remember when I lived in my car and was living off of solar reliance. That was practically what I really needed my solar for, was that lighting when the sun would go away. And it's like, okay, now I need my battery so that I can actually still see things while I'm living out here.
Yeah, I have a bunch of oil lamps, kerosene lamps for light if I need them. I have candles that I put up in racks in doorways for light, you know, ambient light. And then I have like small lights. In fact, I have one right here. I just threw it on the floor. That have a magnet base, so you you can rotate you can stick it to something metal and then move it to where you want your light. You can shine it at the ceiling so it'll light up the room ambiently, or you could have it like a spotlight on something. So I have a bunch of these and extra batteries. I got a ton of extra batteries.
I think
with the 10-year storage guarantee, you know, like Duracell or something like that. Not that I'm advertising for Duracell or anything, but there's a disclaimer, you know, I like their product. That's it.
No, but I think you're onto something though with talking about lighting, and it's you know, like both you and Chad have good points, because being able to work during the night is a vital thing when it's cooler in some regions. It
has to do with that mental game too, because it, because that was what also really got me in the when I was living in my truck, was when if because I had intermittent power problems still every so often, but that was mostly because of my shoddy craftsmanship. But like having that light when the sun would go down, it just makes everything feel a little more normal. It's like
Yeah, it
it
makes a
just
big difference lighting.
yeah, it really does. Like lighting to me makes a big difference. I think it would be something I would want to prioritize. Well, you know what I mean when I say prioritize. As far
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
power usage goes, like I would want to make sure I had power for light. And yeah, conserve it. You said it, like light one room at a time. It's like you still got to be thinking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It'll last. Look, solar power, battery pack, it'll last. But you can't be used to having all the lights up in the whole house on. You got lucky, like we are saying, you got to conserve, pick and choose when you need it. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
and it'll last. It'll work.
I mean, as is, you'd probably get a kick out of this. We haven't really talked about it much, but the what was it? The McKay Mansion in
Which one?
Virginia City.
Oh yeah, I was about to say
It's
that sounds familiar.
yeah, we went through there, and the cool thing about that structure is Thomas Edison himself did the wiring for it.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, it just like goes to show, even back in that time, like how pristine electricity was. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah, it was very prestigious back then. It was very like
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, when you even have the man, like as controversial as Thomas Edison was, he still is definitely a hands-on kind of man getting into the world of power. So he he seeing the work he did really blew my mind. Like at how someone will love a place so much that they're like, no, I want to invest in this new technology here. Like,
Dude,
I don't know.
silver money will do that.
Yeah, it's just
It'd be like paying Jeff Bezos to put your Ring camera in.
well, it goes to show how different the environments are too. Like, and you brought up a good point with it being cold down there. I didn't think about that with Australia, how cold it really gets. But
Yeah, I
how,
think it's a common misconception because I think everyone thinks it's just hot as hell, which I know it gets pretty dang hot, but
yeah. We get the southerly breeze straight from the Arctic, and you really feel it in your bones. Like I was down at my acreage. I was at another acreage I was looking at 2 weeks ago. When we got there, very windy. If you took your hands out of your pockets, I started going numb. It was around -2 degrees Celsius when we checked it.
it's pretty dang cold.
And not Fahrenheit, Celsius. And the week after that, my mate went back up there and told me the pond had froze up, and there was a bit of snow there as well. And also where I'm situated with my farm is, what is it, like 600 to 900 meters above sea level? So it gets really, really cold there. But even not out there, but just here in the city in Sydney, it is freezing cold. It gets really, really cold.
yeah, I don't know how you guys survive on Australia, man. Like with that weather.
Right, everyone just gets
Weather's crazy.
used to it. Like you have guys wearing a jumper, puffer jacket in winter, and they're wearing shorts.
Well, how do your plants even, like the crops? Do the crops really handle that cold?
Yeah, it depends. Like, look, when I went up there, my olive trees were dead. I planted some olive trees; they were dead. Orange thing was dead. Lemons were dead, and the wild pigs had like eaten up the ground. It just looked like someone, just a whole pack of boys went there with dirt bikes and started ripping up the ground. It was just eaten up. Yeah.
Man.
It was chewed up, and you just can't. I can't seem to just get them at the right moment to take them out. But
So
yeah,
that's the secret. Try to plant some crops and then get the pigs.
thing is, they come digging for roots. So they'll dig in the ground looking for roots, and they'll just eat anything. But they'll turn the whole ground upside down. Like I said, it looked like someone with a whole bunch of kids were there with dirt bikes, and they were just ripping up the ground.
It's insane. But I believe it. Pigs are notorious for tearing their faces into there.
Yeah.
Wild boars are nuts. It's funny. That's like one animal I'm very glad that we don't have in the Pacific Northwest. We do not have boars, but
I've always had
lots
like
of
a distinct feeling though
yeah.
that I want to fight them. I don't know why. I just want to hunt boars. I really
Yeah.
They can be
So-
handy on a homestead where if you have a place that's overgrown with like blackberries or other brush, you can turn the pigs out on it and they'll clean that whole area up so you can plant it.
It's crazy.
See that.
And they're like rototillers, like Fanta said.
Yeah, their skin just kind of brushes off the thorns.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they eat them.
Oh, better yet.
They
That's
eat them.
crazy.
Yeah. Pigs.
Can't believe that.
They
Yeah,
have
talking
problems
about-
with them in the wineries around here in California.
Yeah,
They're tearing up the wineries.
yeah, that can't be good.
No.
That's really bad.
You can get unlimited pig hunts around here. A little farther south than where I'm living, but still in California.
Yeah.
You can in fact they'll probably pay you to take a few pigs off their land
Yeah, I
just
believe
because
it.
they're such a nuisance. They're feral.
Yeah, it's really a problem. But back to today's material. NT, do you have any resources that you want to bring to today's discussion?
Well, no, I don't think I don't have any in the show, but I could tell you one thing because of all the I caught the fake news going around nowadays. There are two channels that I pretty much watch. If you don't mind if I share them. Now I just watch them
Oh.
because they're the closest I'm going to get to the true news nowadays. Even if I call it the depressing stuff, which is popularity nowadays if you want to know everything. But
No,
the
I
first
hear you.
channel is a prepper channel. It's called Pinball Preparedness, if I can talk right. So, I mean, he pretty much will go down to the point, and he will call out pretty much all the stupidity you can think of.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's in the country is with a bunch of woods, but he does mention once in a while city stuff. So, I mean, and he does have deals once in a while from some companies, so such as batteries or pretty much solar batteries. If you want to get those at a cheaper price, most times.
No, that's always useful. Like
I mean, that's why-
to have resource.
He also does a giveaway. So again, I'm not promoting him, but that's just one place that I go to. The other ones, and I'm not gonna have a good time pronouncing the name, but FRS is Homestead with Patera. Actually, he's a homesteader, so.
You
And
said
again,
Homestead
yeah, I just do Homestead with Patera.
Whippetera.
Yeah. YouTube should be smart to bring that up. Now, if you want more of the homesteading stuff and more of the other side of news, that is the other channel I go to.
Okay.
So, I mean, those are pretty much the two. I really don't watch much others. You know, YouTube tries to recommend me this or that. I just say, forget it. I'm just sticking to two at the time.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I try to diversify with a few channels, but it's good to know your sources and trust who you're getting information from. So
Yeah, I mean, so those are two. The other ones, now I'm pretty much careful because as Pinball mentioned a few times in his past videos, some now just fear mongering ones where they just do it for clickbaits and all that. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's another reason why I just limited to and slow maybe find another channel that might be trustworthy, which I haven't found yet.
No, I hear you. Well, I appreciate you sharing those, and I think some people might get some good information out of that if they want to do some diving in themselves and today's subject with off-grid. So I think we're ready to move into the main discussion front. Let's go into trial grounds. All right. I'm curious if anyone has anything to say on how they feel about the mental awareness in survival. So in both survival and off-grid, what are the characteristic things you find yourself doing to keep yourself level-headed, or you either plan to do or you try to practice doing subconsciously when you're walking around the forest or your environment?
I feel like the biggest perspective that I've gleaned through my time in search and rescue is it's very, very easy to saying become overwhelmed is the wrong word. And I'm speaking from where my mental state went the one time when I almost got lost in the forest. There was a time I got very close, but we found our way out and it was only a little dark. But
While you're searching for somebody else?
yeah, we were searching for somebody else, and
Almost got lost.
I have this hilarious. It's my Spotify account picture, but I have this picture that someone took of me, from a distance, and it's all dark. There's headlights everywhere, and I'm just like poring over a map like this, like, oh my god, like I can't. But the point to it is that when you have this initial thought of I'm lost, I don't know where I am, it's very easy to get into this overwhelmed panic state, and getting over that hump to me can set your attitude and can help to set your cadence for the rest of your ordeal. Just trying to slow down is the best thing that I try to tell people. Just slow down, slow your thinking, you can slow your breathing if you're freaking out that much, but it's just calming your mind and trying to look at the bigger picture without letting the bigger picture overwhelm or panic you, which in a lost or survival or off-grid situation is very easy to allow to happen.
Panic can kill you.
Exactly. But if you can get over that mental hump and be able to look at the bigger picture without it causing you panic, you can look at the aspects and the steps that now have to be taken, because now it is a matter of life and death. But it's how you look at it. It's, I need to calmly take these steps, do them right, do them to the best of what I can do right now to be able to set myself up for success in whatever survival scenario that you might find yourself in. I think it's, and of course, of paramount importance to keep going, but it's easier to keep going when you've gotten over that and you can think to yourself, okay, I can do this, and if I don't do it, I might die, but that's okay because I'm going to try. I think that's really the important mindset that I've found through being through both observing people in this situation, being in this situation briefly, and finding people who did not get themselves out of, or someone who did not survive that situation, someone who lost the mental game.
Yeah. It's easy to, oh my God, where am I now that I'm lost? It's like I was supposed to be trying to find somebody and now I'm lost myself. They're going to have to send somebody for me. And your mind can start doing circles like a car doing donuts.
I have a whole team with me. The sun is down. These maps don't make sense.
Yeah. So and at that point, you need to stop and examine at least the last, few hours. Did you take a turn in the wrong place or this or that, to continue forward, even though you're lost, could you get you more lost or in dangerous terrain? Whereas once you realize that you're not where you thought you were going to be, you need to stop and examine everything about where you're at and where you need to go and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And the way I truly got out of that situation was I turned to my, it's dark. It's like there's no sunlight. So we all have headlamps on. So I just turned to my team and was like, all right, guys, we're lost. Like, I don't know where we are. And so I gave it to my team to bring them in on what's going on. It would made me less stressed because I didn't feel like I was trying to pretend like I knew what was going on. And once I brought it to the floor, we were all able to come together and be able to come up with, because we all worked together on it. We were all able to figure out what was going on, which we were going in a circle. So we were able to find the actual bearing we had to go on and actually just beeline to like a known location. We were able to beeline it to a road once we figured out where we were. But that's the other thing too, is that, I mean, we touched on it in the last episode, but having people with you, or even just one other person or a team, is, I mean, obviously it's pretty much what got me out, because we worked together. We came up with the solution together.
Yeah. And you got to be willing to say, okay, I was wrong. Let's try your way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another huge thing about survival, is being able to accept whatever has gotten you here, whether it be out of your control or if it was in your control. It doesn't matter now. It just matters if you survive or not.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. No, good points, Chad. And is there anything anyone else has to add currently to this?
Yeah, so we'll go back, like you said, regarding morale. It's a big thing, and I believe morale is life and death. It's the difference with life and death is, your resilience. Not just maintaining resilience, but like you said, not panicking, sitting, evaluating the situation, and then comes your decision making. And I'm a firm believer in being confident with your decision making. If you believe you should do so, when you start thinking, should I not, you start freezing, you start buckling. If you believe to do it, from what you know from experience, be confident with your decision and go with it. And regarding panicking as well, like you said, your brain starts playing tricks on you. Always be resilient. Always literally tell yourself that I'm going to live. I am going to get out. Obviously, it's a matter of when, but just tell yourself that the end of the story is going to be, I'm going to be out. I'm going to be found. We're going to get out of the situation.
Yeah, have confidence in your ability to survive.
Correct. Have confidence. And like you said, don't panic. Like, I'll give you an example. I wasn't lost in the bush. I was in the water, spearfishing with my friend, and we decided to go spearfishing. One of the worst days you can go spearfishing, because the water clarity was less than a meter. The swells were massive, and the water was crashing on the rocks. And anyways,
that's terrifying.
We were like, yeah, whatever. We're here. Let's go give it a try.
Like a true Aussie, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, true Aussie.
Mind you, I've only been spearfishing like less than a year at that time.
Okay.
So I had no experience, and even till now, I'll still say I don't have that much experience, because it's a, you need probably about a decade, I say, to sit and say you're confident to be in water.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that's a true technique.
Yeah.
My first problem, I slipped on moss and injured my wrist before I even got in the water. So what did I say? It's all right, I'll just hold my spear gun with the other hand. So we went in the water. We were going to the heads. Right? We kept going in, going to the heads. It's open ocean. It's not like a closed bay or something. It's open ocean. We were going towards the heads. Realized that, okay, this is no good. Swells are big. I got to a point where I couldn't see my friend, because, wave will come, you go down, and
right.
And you can't see him. And not even that, but look underwater, you put your hand in front of you, you only see up to your wrist. Like the water clearance was very, really, really bad. We're like, all right, let's go back. We're going back, and then he eventually gets out of the water, and then I realized I got whip-slashed by a wave, and it knocked my goggles off. And so I couldn't see anymore. Like, my goggles were like half on my head, and I was trying to put my hand to readjust my goggle, and then I realized I couldn't move my left arm. at that point, my friend was out of the water watching me. I didn't know because I couldn't see anything, and I was trying to find the surface to grab on. So my left arm, I couldn't really move it, and I'll tell you why after. I didn't know at the moment why I couldn't. I was just, something was holding it back, and I had the gun on the right arm. Face I couldn't see. My eyes were closed. The water whip slashing in. Half my goggles were a bit off. So at that moment, like we were saying, don't panic. So first thing I was like, I need to find a way to breathe, right? Find a comfortable position where I can at least take a breath. Because that's the first step. So I put that in my head. Found the place where I'm getting pushed up, pushed down, pushed up, pushed down in the water. But I was able to time, roughly when I can catch a breath. Because you can feel when your head's just above the water. Time that. Now I'm like, all right, that's done. Second step, let's get out of the water. Fins are slipping on the rocks and the moss and the ground, because now at this point I'm just on the rocks. After some time where I'm getting pelted by the waves, pushed out, pushed in, slammed on a rock, and every time I was slamming on the rock, I'm trying to get a grip on something. Midway, what do I realize? My float line had tied me up, hence why I couldn't move my left arm. It had wrapped around my legs, wrapped around my waist.
Wow.
I got hogtied. I was hogtied by my rope line. Wow. Yeah. And eventually, I don't know how, I was able to get a grip on a rock or something. And from that onwards, get leverage to rip myself out. It was just right near the boat ramp. My friend was just laughing. I was laughing. I was laughing after as well.
Yeah.
I really didn't think it was bad, but he's like to me, bro, he's like, if you saw what I saw, I honestly thought you were gone. I was like, that's why I didn't even jump in the water to get you. He's like, you were tied up.
Nice.
He's like, you were tied up by your rope. Your rope had just hog-tied you.
And I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
I was still laughing at that point. We're still mates and everything. It was one of the best friends. Aussies, man. You know how Aussies are.
Oh, yeah.
That's hardcore.
We're just having a laugh, and then after we're sitting like, damn, like that was actually pretty close. Like, he's like, if you really saw what I saw, you were just tied up. Goggles were like half off.
Nah, there's a lot of people that would freak out.
Oh, yeah.
I could see your head. He's like, I could see you were trying to poke your head above the water and catch breather, which I did. So breathing was actually fine. I was able to breathe the whole time. I was doing fine with that. He's like, but I thought you were gone. You were just wrapped up. You were getting slapped left, right, center, left, right. Like someone was grabbing you, pulling you, pushing you, pulling you, dragging you down under, push back up. And we had a laugh about it. But point, anyways, not to drag it on. Point being is, I thought I was doing fine. I didn't really know how bad of a situation I was in. But what made me think I was doing fine was I didn't panic. I put in my head, there's some steps I need to first accomplish. First step being breathing. That's done. Second step. So I observed the situation, adapted to it, and I put some steps in my head that I needed to accomplish to get myself out. And I told myself, if you do these, you will get yourself out. And so it was the resilience that kept me going. If I started panicking and start flailing my hand and just start hyperventilating and breathing hard and heavy, I probably would have been gone. You know what I mean?
That sounds like a good episode for the Aussie YouTuber. He does Destination F'd. Have you seen him?
No, I actually haven't. No.
That's funny.
Oh, I'll have to find him and put a link down in the private chat.
I'll give him a search up.
Yeah. Just look up Destination F'd and then spell out the whole word instead of abbreviating it.
Oh, yeah.
He's an Aussie guy. He does comedy.
Oh, yeah.
No, I love how you figured out the steps that need to happen, but you still took them one step at a time. It's like that's half of it too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I think.
Yeah, no. The ocean definitely gets people every year with how violent it can be, and I mean, yeah,
you are not on the top of the food chain.
No, and if there's one thing I do know, it's the Oregon coast with the rocks. Like, rocky beaches are no joke, man. They can absolutely thrash you and tear you open because they're just so coarse and rigid. Like, that's always been my biggest fear. Like, one of my biggest fears of nature is falling into one of those holes in the tide pool areas where it's just a deep crevice and there's like walls all around you. It's just a pit with the waves coming in. Like, It's possible to get out, but you're going to be cut up by barnacles and all sorts of nasty things, man. I'm always very, very, very serious when I'm at the coast. Like, I'm on a mission. I got my trench coat. Like, I'm going, dude. But no, I'm glad you made it out. You've been a good friend to me, man, and I enjoy hearing your stories.
Thanks, man.
I'm sure the podcast will love hearing about that because we have a few viewers that have visited Australia, so it's good to interact with the different cultures of this world and see what's out there, man. Yeah, Aussie Man Reviews.
Yeah. I see the link.
Yeah, Aussie
He's
Man
hilarious.
Reviews.
I've been watching him for a couple of years now.
No, but not to get us too far off base. Is there anything else? NT, did you have anything you wanted to add to mental awareness in these situations?
I mean, that's pretty much going to be the biggest thing if the grid ever goes down, is that everyone's going to be, instead of doing this, taking the small steps to get to the big picture, they're just going to see the whole massive thing, because obviously they're not going to be able to do texting, their TikToks anymore, because obviously that won't work anymore. So they're going to be freaking out big time. And
I mean, that's a huge point. I want to actually double down on what you mentioned. Massive point. Information's going to be skewed, man. You gotta have a plan B. Like, I don't have the best plan B set up right now, but I do have books on fishing and vital information that, can help me with honey and producing such things. So, it's at least a start. The other thing is knowing the people that can help get you there during that position. Knowing farmers, having a local food source base, all important, and that's why supporting local commerce has to be a narrative that we try to push more. Something I'm going to try to actively get into more in the next few years here, because I do believe in the power behind local commerce. That if we can start combating corruption back at a local level, then there's a higher probability that we'll find success at a larger scale. It's just the way I view it. Why can't it work like that? It comes down to, if we build the infrastructure within our families to help provide food more locally, even that can help offset a lot of costs.
Because right now everyone that goes to a small mom and pop store or shop, they always complain about the prices being outrageous, so they'll just jump in a car, go to a box store, grab it for what, 98 cents, and you pay $3.85 in gas one way. Well, depending on how good a vehicle is. But now this is another thing. The grid goes down. Where are you going to get the gas now for your vehicle? Because all the pumps, unless you could somehow manually pump the gas out of this tank, you ain't going to get any more. If you get what I mean. So, everyone's going to be freaking out, per se, to say the least.
Well, in a place like Kansas, I'm just curious because I've never been to Kansas. I'm about to be there, though. I have a friend that lives there. And I just was wondering how dense the population is.
I'm going to bring up the maps, because I actually don't have the states in my head, even though I live here for. So anyway, I'm just going to go the Kansas City route, because once you get out of Kansas City, you're going to pass it through another city of Lawrence, and then the other city of Topeka, and in about an hour, you reach two more big cities. This is where the military fort is, of Manhattan and Junction City. Then about another hour west, you hit Salina, and then once you hit that, it is practically dotted. So pretty much lost. Yeah, so that's taking I-70. If you go down I-75, maybe an hour or two, you hit a few more cities. But I mean, other than that, it takes
See,
longer and goes straight up and north with a straight line, and then that'd be a high density area up to the east, and the spotted densities all to the west, where all the twisters hit.
oh man.
So I mean, once you go past the line, you better have a full tank of gas, because you're going to not find many gas stations beyond that.
Well, has there ever been like, talk in those areas with all the farming to try to make a more, ethanol or grain-based fuel source for vehicles?
They
I
grow a
have
lot
not
of
heard
corn
any,
for
as far as I know of. And especially in my small town, I haven't heard any of talks.
Yeah, because corn would be more of a Idaho potato.
Yeah,
I always get
Kansas
so
grows a lot
thrown
of
off.
corn. And,
Yeah, Kansas
and a lot of
does
the
grow
corn, a lot of the corn grown in Kansas is used for alcohol production for fuels, but it has to end up going to a refinery before it comes back to the gas stations.
Yeah,
And it's up to the local gas stations if they're going to carry the ethanol fuel or not.
but there's no way to scale it down and do it really, really locally.
No, not
You could do
Not
it
here.
yourself, but you better have a still.
Yeah. So you'd at least need a still, but that's manageable. I mean, the crafting the still is a whole nother discussion. I mean, that can be tricky, but I mean,
But yeah.
I don't know if we can have that discussion.
Oh, we're not talking about a solar still? I joined this late.
No, just a still in general.
To process corn into alcohol.
Okay. That is something to be said about grid down situation, is that's something that's overlooked as far as a useful material to stockpile would be cheap alcohol. Such as
the nature
like if you I mean, obviously you should probably have like rubbing alcohol, hydrogen peroxide on hand. Like those are good household items, but in a grid down, like if you had, I mean, think about if you in your prep not only prepped non-perishable foods, but you also prepped like just vodka, like just alcohol. Because if you have that on hand, that can be used. That has lots of different uses. You could get a like a small alcohol stove if you just need to heat food and you don't want to use too much fuel at all, or you don't want to use propane. Because we could talk about propane and propane accessories all we wanted. But alcohol is cool too, because alcohol would be a really great barter item for people. Because we could talk about bartering too if we want to talk about off grid. Because there's going to be some people in those early times that'll just be pretty desperate. So if there's that one thing you need, and Jim down the road really needs some vodka in these trying times.
Yeah.
So I would trade vodka for bullets. And fill in the blank.
Chad, there's two different kinds of alcohol though. There's the vodka, you could use it, but it has to be very high proof. It can't be the 80 proof. That's not going to burn like you want it to.
Right.
So you can get a non-food grade ethanol, which you can use for like the sand battery candles and what you're talking about. And then also stockpile bottles of vodka for the people that need something like that.
Yeah,
the
starter item. And I mean, I'm going to drink it too.
Work and,
the
first thing to go is going to be alcohol.
Well, medicinal use of alcohol is great too. I mean,
you can make tinctures
down, and tinctures. Like there's
extracts and tinctures.
All sorts of practical uses. But these are all elements that I think realistically they should be something that's taught in school, but or offered in school, but they don't want people to be self-sufficient.
No,
that's just the general consensus. I feel is they want them to be self-sufficient enough to help save them money.
Well, yeah, they want you to be self-sufficient enough to survive another day to buy their product.
Well, that's why they're pushing for the HVAC systems. Make them more efficient so the grid is less strained.
Yeah,
Like it makes sense.
it does.
But it's also like not out of the kindness of their heart. I feel that they're necessarily pushing it. It's for some, I'm sure, but you can always see the fine print underneath it that shows the real incentive of trying to get people to invest in their property. A lot of time, HOAs don't want your house to. They don't want your house to lower the property value of the other ones around it, and they may get on you. The neighborhood may get on you. And
Yeah. Well, and especially out here, it's like the people who are moving up here, people who are moving from Portland and California, and they're like, "Oh my God, oh, it's so fancy! Look, it's a computer," So it's like people love that stuff.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, no, it's no joke.
Were they moving from under a rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real kicker to see what these different types of people bring into these more rural communities, because you can see the contrast of the people that are actually from farmer families or ranching families that are just getting around, and then you have these people that are rolling in and bringing in Tesla trucks.
Yeah.
There's so many cyber trucks up here. It's ridiculous.
It's a really funny mix of people here, and we all kind of get along, but it's there's some pretty stark differences. Like if you walk into Fred Meyer, or
I knew you were going to say
into
it.
Costco, totally different people. It's like they'll be cowboy hat, flannel, blue jeans, cowboy boots, and then right next to that person will be round sunglasses and just total Portland Bendite California person.
Straight out of the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, the 60s and 70s clothing is coming back in fashion. The newest generations are starting to reuse some of that. It's kind of fun to see. It's like, what am I, back in the 70s? Big bell bottoms,
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
I digressed. Sorry, I got off track.
No, it's okay. So,
You got me thinking about clothes in a grid down, because I've never really thought about. I've always just been I'll just wear what I have, which I guess is true. But I wonder, are there any clothing considerations that I might not have considered? I mean, obviously dress for the weather, mud.
How do you clean your clothes?
How do you clean your clothes? That's a great one.
If you don't have a generator for your washing machine.
Yeah, and depending on how long the grid is out, water pressure could deplete, and hopefully you have a source of water that is disposable enough to actually clean clothes. You're not relying on it for drinking and cooking.
I mean, yeah, that's the hope. And I mean, a washboard, man. That technology works just fine, in my opinion. It's something I want to invest in.
Everybody should have a washboard. I want
That's
one.
how I feel too. It's something that I don't understand why. Well, I do. In a place like a high desert,
I don't think my landlady would like me having a wash tub in my apartment.
Well, it's not like we can just hike down to the canyon, every day.
This is why I want property. I want acreage.
I mean, we could. That's the thing. You technically could, and have your mind over matter, and you're really going to have to be prepared to do a mind switch if that something like that does happen. Because you never know what you have to do. Maybe you're hauling water.
Right. Because, one of the processes that I'm looking forward to the least in a grid down situation is going to be the initial impact of whatever's happening to cause the population to go into this mode of operation. Because one thing that I've been thinking about a little bit lately is because if the grid goes down, that probably means, it's like internet is going to be down. We were talking about information earlier, but also like I think there's going to be a lot of people nowadays who are going to be greatly impacted by a sudden lack of entertainment, a sudden lack of that stimulus. Because I think there's a lot of people who, and I mean me included, it's like the other day my power went out while I was in the middle of watching anime. And when the power went out, I was like, my anime, like I need it back. and then the power came back on. I was like, okay, but I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to like end up in this. And like, I feel like the people on this panel would be able to pretty quickly be like, like, oh, we'll go grab a book, or like not be phased by this as much because we'll be able to make this flip. But I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get really wrapped up in that. And because I'm just imagining these people, because we put thought towards these things. We think about, we put ourselves through these scenarios of, oh, okay, like what if I need to cook food with, like how am I going to do that? But I think there's a lot of people that never even run themselves through that scenario and wouldn't even be prepared to not have internet. Like as far as an existing standpoint.
I guarantee, like, who's going to be fine in these situations are the total wargaming community. They're going to all have generators. And they're all going to be ready. They're going to be like, the servers are so good today. They're going to still be doing their tournaments. Like, you think I wouldn't show up? The world's ending, dude. Like, of course. This tournament means it's high stakes. Like,
talk about real life scenarios.
I think about that all the time, though. What is going to happen to the gaming community? There's so many people addicted to like Candy Crush and like Star Valley and Stardew Valley. Like, it's, I don't know. There's
even I would still need a generator if I wanted to play Borderlands. But
and you best believe like that's the end goal. Get the consoles, the PCs running, but
that's what's so funny about that old Xbox 360 I got sitting right there. I did not pay a lot of money for it, and I'll still have a lot of games to be able to, if I have power. That's the big kicker here. If the magical scenario of power is met, I can just chill out.
Well, again, that goes back to preparing yourself for success. Dude, who is drinking water?
That was me. I'm sorry.
Man.
I was like, oh, man, that's some intense water drinking.
Yeah, it was like after 4 gulps, we're like, okay, we got to say something now.
I was gonna say I was about to test it. I was almost over to taste that.
Trust me. In this Kansas heat. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how many bottles of water I drink a day. I can tell you it's above 4.
Oh, stay hydrated, man. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, it's no joke. Georgia is bad enough for me. I can only imagine the heat wave of that right now.
Actually, hydration is actually a good point.
And tossing about 60% to 70% humidity in the mix, and you got yourself some fun, which is not.
Yeah, that'll just pull moisture out of you.
No,
but the moisture doesn't evaporate off you, so you don't cool down.
Yeah, but the point I was trying to make with preparing yourself with success is, if you do have waterways or you're able to access running water, I mean, that's huge because not just for the water source that directly provides for yourself, but for power opportunities, the kinetic energy that can be generated. You could use the old, I believe it's a washing machine, and make a turbine out of it. You can produce I think 60 amps off of one of those turbines, which huge. I mean, that's massive. And then you stack them up. You could actually theoretically power a house with that kind of power. But again, you have to think about people, who's going to be around, like what that property is going to endure. If you endure flood seasons, like say goodbye to your washing machines, like, or just being aware enough to have portability. Maybe you have to be nomadic to a degree. Like, I definitely feel like adaptability is one of the key parts it still comes back to. It's like the clothing situation. Maybe you can learn how to sew if you get some power going, but
I mean, you can sew.
Maybe
power
you
for that, but still,
maybe
it's a skill in and of itself.
Yeah.
Just threading that needle. After a few vodkas.
I'll tell you, I personally feel like clothing's not going to be that big of an issue.
I know. I've been thinking about it, and it's like
much clothes on this planet.
Yeah,
like,
there is.
That is a point.
We're in the United States, and we have we'd have stores that throw it out just because it's not in fashion. Like, it's ridiculous, man. It's disgusting, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you were saying with the washing, easy solution for that is you'll find a lot of plants that contain saponins in them, natural soap, and just find the body of water, find some of those plants like soapberry, soapweed, yucca, English ivy, soapwort, and you just throw it in the water, and really the water will become a bit soapy, and they contain saponins in them, like natural detergents.
That's really cool.
Just hand wash your clothes with it. So just mix it with the water, So that's where it comes to. It's very important to have knowledge of different plants and herbs, because you can use it for so much things, from cleaning wounds to, detergents, cleaning your clothes, to treating burns, cuts, and so that's one thing I actually emphasize a lot on is buying different types of herbs.
Yeah, off-grid knowledge of plants will be very important, I feel like. And that's something I'm lacking. I don't know a lot about plants. I should know more.
I need to at least stock up on more resources with plant knowledge.
One really good one for cleaning clothes and just for doing all sorts of stuff is wood ash as well. Like if you get, because you were talking about, wood burning fire, it's like you're heating your home, and then you can also take, if you get that fire really nice and hot, you get that nice white pure ash. That just has a lot of lye in it. So it's like you could clean your body and clean your clothes with wood ash if you need to.
So funny too, because as a kid, I always felt like ash felt clean, Like I never felt like it was too. It was different than dust, Like it felt different on the skin.
Yeah, it's like different than dust and different than charcoal. It's its own thing. But yeah, wood ash has been being used like that. Like return to old ways. Wood ash has been being used like that for a long time.
Well, and charcoal in and of itself is useful as filtration. So
true.
Yeah.
You can use wood ash in your garden as well, but you got to be careful because it'll raise your pH.
That makes sense.
Makes it more alkaline. Yeah. So if you have acid soils and you need it more neutral, you could use it to make it more alkaline. Yeah. It'll cut acid in the soil.
Yeah, that's how you can convert like pine forest ground to be more fertile. So you can
just burn the forest, right?
Yeah, burn the forest, burn the brush a little bit.
Yeah,
they would never do that, right?
That's the irony of it. Is like that shows that nature's built for these at least a little bit of fire to come through.
And what doesn't turn into white ash is charcoal, which is good for the soil too.
It grows back really fast. My friend's farm, I visited after a fire. I was driving past, the place was a wasteland. Trees burnt up, grass burnt up, so you could see through the thing. I came back, I think so maybe 8 months later, another trip, and it was green again. Forest, I couldn't see through again. You had, bushes, trees were regrown, still a bit of black, but a lot of the ground plants, the ground was black, so you could see through, you could see all the way through. Yeah. This time, within 8 months, it was all back to green. Most of the things have grown back again. So you'll be surprised how quick it is to repair itself.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's a fine line between, old growth forest burns and like, I mean, some of it was, it's hard to say from a modern perspective. That's how I feel, because
I would agree with that, because it's hard for us to look at forest fires as anything but destructive. And I mean, this is coming from someone who's from Central Oregon, where I do know for a full fact that our forests out here do actually need, at least in a natural state, need forest fires to reproduce, because our ponderosa pines, their pine cones and their pine nuts won't open or germinate unless there's a fire. So,
Yeah.
so
and
something
there's
to us,
like that in Nevada too.
yeah. So something to us that can only be seen as destructive in nature is something that is reconstructive, because it goes
It's a
through.
cleanser and a renewer.
Exactly. It clears the brush so that everything can get sunlight, and it clears the underbrush so that things can take root and not compete. And then the new ponderosa pines can come up and live amongst other ponderosas that survived, and also feed off of the ash and of the charcoal to be able to have enough nutrients to be able to grow. Now, the caveat is that humans have messed up the timing of these forest fires.
Yes.
Because the assumption of this ecosystem is that these forest fires happen by chance, so that there can be the proper amount of time between. But when humans add into the mix, now there's forest fires that are popping up too often and in uncontrolled manners. Yet they're supposed to happen every couple decades in a relatively uncontrolled manner, but it's for the forest. Versus now we have our own structures, our own stake in the forest. So it's hard to view it as something positive. It has to be viewed as negative.
Chad, you brought something up, but you generalized it, because humans used to use fire in the forests for good purposes. The Amazon, they've made the terra preta, which is centuries of fire and rebuilding of the soil. And also, right in this area here, the native would burn portions of the forest, and just so it would renew, they would get more camas bulbs and stuff like that from the cleared areas. So it allowed the things that were dormant in the ground to thrive more and stuff like that. So they used it for good, but now a lot of humans just want to see something burn to see it burn. They don't do it for a constructive reason. They do it out of a destructive reason.
Right. And even when we're doing controlled burns out here, it's still, the whole purpose is still just to try to mitigate. It's about prevention.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been so many regulations that you can hardly cut a tree anymore. So it's created a situation where the forests are much more dense, and there's a lot of dead fuel in there because they don't get the light they need, so they die. The trees and the understory die, and so there's a lot more fuel, and so the suppression of fires for decades has contributed to the severity of fires lately.
Yep.
That and the spraying of the aluminum in the skies, but that's another subject for another day.
To add to that, like you said, here in Australia, for example, the natives here, the Aborigines, were known for that they were backburning and doing techniques like cool burning, where they were burning to manage landscape. They'll burn away the dry vegetation, obviously in a controlled manner. And like he was saying, regarding regulations, we used to always backburn, so to prevent these massive fires from, getting much bigger and way uncontrolled. And then regulations came in, greenies, and then all of a sudden we had that massive fire in 2019, and that could have been prevented if they just let the people that have been here for thousands of years continue doing what they were doing, which is backburning. Because the fireys here, the rural firefighters here, learned it, learn the techniques, and they were always managing it every year. So you'd have fires, but not to these big destructive levels that they got to. They were so big. Sydney was covered in smog. I'm sure you remember. I think there was Canadian firefighters that ended up getting sick, American. I remember when I was at work, the whole airport was just full of smoke. For weeks on weeks, you could just smell, fire. You could smoke. Everything was covered in smoke, ash. And if they were just left to do the backburning, it wouldn't have reached this level. So it is very important to backburn, to manage land, burning away dry vegetation, because you will prevent a much bigger devastating fire, and you'll save a lot of lives, and property won't get damaged as much. And that's the thing that pisses me off, is when you have people that don't know about something try to butt in and add their rules and regulations. Like you've got someone that has no idea about forests and fires or firefighting, coming and trying to select the budget for firefighters, telling them what they can and can't do, and they don't have a damn clue of what really their job is.
Well, then they try to buy a mountain or whatnot, and
they're just there to be in control. That's all. They enjoy being in control, whether they know what they're doing or not.
That's right. It's just power hungry. It's funny. We had one of the fireys. They had the TV crew, and he was driving past in a fire truck, and then he slammed the brake, looked at him, and he was like, "Are you from the press?" They're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Tell the Prime Minister to go F himself. He really does think that we love doing this." And he's like, "He sure really thinks that we love doing this shit, doesn't he?" And then he just drove off. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that live? Very good.
Yeah. And it shows you how very disconnected they are to what's actually happening on the grounds. And who cops the effects of it? We do. They don't care. They're in there,
It's almost like it's on purpose sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they want some land developed, and
I saw a lot of those fires they seem to be along the same route as the proposed railway system that's supposed to go along the south. Was it the southeast?
Yeah. You know what's funny? This over here in Australia.
It happened in California too, by the way.
Yeah, I heard about a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I read about it. Over here, like when they want to develop something, they'll spend 20 years trying to develop it. It'll blow out of budget by 10 folds.
Oh, yeah.
And they just can't really manage anything. And back to where I think it's just all corporate run. They don't care about you. As long as you're going to work, you're paying taxes, they're making money off you. They really don't care about you. They'll try to shut you up by telling you, oh, you've got 24-hour electricity. You're not like other countries. You've got some 24-hour running water. And, sadly, a lot of people fall for it.
Yeah. They're just a pretty face on TV is all they are. And behind the scenes, they are for themselves and their buddies, and they just pass money around. We had California high-speed rail. It's been 16 years since that was approved. It's twice over budget, and they have not yet paid a single piece of track.
Yeah.
So, and now they've brought up another one from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. They want to start on. It's like, well, why don't you finish the first one first?
Finish the first one, yeah.
Oh, man.
And they started it in the middle of farmland to go towards San Francisco and towards LA, instead of starting it in San Francisco and LA and trying to meet in the middle, where they could use those end portions in the large populations after they were finished, while they're building more track farther and farther out. I questioned that whole thing in the beginning.
Yeah, it all just sounds like interest groups.
Money sink, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one big cash register with the drawer open.
Yeah, man, it's gotten to the point where it's out of touch for a lot of people, and they tap out because they just feel like their presence isn't valued. But it's so far from the fact. If we would just all voice up and do research more and actually have more tangible reason to these situations, we might get somewhere. But trying to silence the other side or be combative about information, it's never gonna end well. You know, look at Rome. Like, so many people like to look back to it, and when you really, really do look at it, though, their politics were the biggest problem they faced. In my opinion,
that's right.
like, there's nothing that would have saved them outside of them saving themselves.
They collapse from within.
Because they had good values, man. I mean, the citizenship was not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think they had something going there, but the way they enforced it, the way they internalized their self realization of who they were as a people. I mean, it started demonizing the culture. I mean, there's good things in Germanic cultures. There's good things in Celtic culture. You know, it's not like they deserve to be demonized, but when you look at it at face value, like, these are just people trying to learn how to contain a wild world. Like, they didn't have electricity. They didn't have the internet. You know, maybe they did have electricity, actually. Who knows? Like,
sometimes it sort of speaks to me that, like, nationalism sort of has a shelf life to it. It's like there's sort of a cap depending on what your country has going for it. It's like it can only reach a certain point before it just sort of implodes on itself. Because, I mean, it's just speaking like that about Rome. I mean, it really does make me feel like it like, it's easy to see parallels in history a lot of, like, things that are going on now versus things that are going on then, about ideas, about you know, your feelings on your standing inside of a nation. It's a very interesting thing to think about. I mean, it's like, it's hard for me to even pin down how I feel about my nation right now. It's like, I like it because I live here, but there's just lots of things to it.
Yeah, and I only mean in that example earlier, like, a perspective of trying to see how this culture would, I mean, not really, because old knowledge pertains to these situations. I mean, these people were dealing with famines, dealing with disasters, you know, wars. There's a lot of things that affected how they had to rely on their resources. You know, may it be agricultural or defensive. And if there's anything I've learned from my studies, it's not easy to necessarily obtain those resources to smith tools or to quickly do these things unless you establish time and development into doing them the right way. Or slavery, which unfortunately was a readily available supply. So
yeah,
that's like one of the stark differences, I'd say, though, is manpower. Mm-hmm. You had a lot more manpower available to just throw into situations. And that kind of created the cultures that we're dealing with today, though, in modern age. The art community is old. The trade community is old. Stonemasons, old. Like, there's some stuff to be learned there, and then there's some stuff to be feared there. You don't want them to control how you dictate your life, because maybe you don't want to live like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you deserve your own freedoms. I'm all for freedom. So, yes.
I think that there's going to be a large portion of the population, doesn't matter where it takes place, that has been too complacent for too long and will not be able to come through it to the other side.
Every American city.
Pretty much.
Yep.
And if you don't have a way to harden your shelter and protect it, it's going to be taken from you. And you might as well just pack up and leave before the calamity happens, if that's possible. Like during the fires around here, there's a talk. They evacuated the east side of town, so I had a trailer with all my important documents and anything that I felt was necessary. I had it ready to go, just hook up and go, because I didn't think that I could, I did what I could to protect the property. But at a certain point, if you've got a raging forest fire coming down on top of your head, there's a certain point that how much of that can you push back or should you leave first? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, welcome in, Sir Tonell.
Hello.
I'm glad to see you, man.
Oh.
no!
He's like, oh,
Yeah,
Gosh,
how
man.
dare they introduce me?
Whoa.
Thanks for calling me. I gotta go.
So, boys, I'm gonna call it here because it's 3 in the morning and I've got work in a couple of hours.
Oh shoot!
Hey, just so we have a Scotsman telling a Aussie to go to sleep. Well, hey, Sir Tonell, tell Aziz good night. He's taking off.
No, I'm back. Accidentally pressed the exit button by accident.
No,
Yes.
you're good. Aziz is actually taking off, Sir Tonell.
Oh,
So,
no problem.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll
nice
see
to
you
briefly
later.
meet you.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Good
Yeah,
talk, man.
Take care.
Likewise,
Yeah.
boys. Good to meet you, gentlemen, and hopefully we'll meet again and talk on the next subject. I really enjoyed my time here and really had fun.
No, we enjoyed having you, man. I'm glad you took the time.
Likewise.
I really
Thank
do
you.
appreciate it, brother.
Thank you for inviting me. Really appreciate it, boys.
Get some
Take
good
care,
rest, man.
boys.
Yeah,
Likewise,
really nice
take
to
care.
meet you.
All the best, and don't work too hard.
Take care.
Thanks, man.
Take care.
Take care.
Hang loose.
Sweet.
No, but seriously, welcome, Tonell.
Welcome
That was
in,
dank
Tonell.
that you hit the X right when I said welcome.
Yeah, bro.
Give us a good laugh. By the way, on the last recording we did, if you guys look at the end of it, where I put the credits, I took a clip. So in the middle of the podcast, right when you left, I said, "Get out of my swamp."
Yeah.
I put that because at the end of the recording, I did it again. So it went, "Get out of my," and then it cut off. So I just put it there too. So yeah.
Yeah, I love how Scottish people in swamps go 1-on-1 these days.
It's so stupid, dude.
Yeah, I know.
So
funny, but
DreamWorks.
I don't
It's
mind.
so funny. Shrek is a legend, so you lucked out. You got
Yeah, man.
the best role model. That you guys just make it your national mascot.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should.
I think that would be better. I think that would be better received than people think.
Yeah, the national animal of Scotland's a unicorn, so maybe an
that's
ogre
right.
wouldn't be too far away.
Yeah. Your national mascot, an ogre. No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
You're ridiculous. It's a unicorn.
Oh, I forgot about that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think we're trying to forget about it as well. We couldn't even pick like an animal that's still alive or even a real one.
Dude,
Maybe they
doesn't
exist.
Ireland have some crazy shit too that they have? As
Probably,
their national?
man. Probably.
I gotta look this up.
Got a lot of migratory birds go by.
Yeah.
Is it appropriation for me to think that the Irish national animal is a sheep? I think that's cultural appropriation.
Oh,
Nah, that's Welsh, bro.
It's even worse. It's a hare.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that.
Yeah,
The
of
Welsh
course.
is dragon. I don't know what England
Yes,
is.
that's right.
I don't know what England's is.
England. Oh,
Be a horse, maybe. I don't know. That's a guess.
I don't have a lot of good guesses.
ew. You guys
Oh,
want to
no.
know what it is?
What?
Is it?
It's a lion.
Oh,
Oh,
of course. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
cool. I mean,
course.
yes, Parliament.
Just so British. Separatist.
Yeah. Should we make it an animal that we have in our country? No.
No, it needs to be bigger.
It's just
Just take it like they did everything else.
Bigger and hairier and got straighter teeth.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Sorry, British. You're always gonna get teeth jokes. You did it to yourself. Pop culture took that shit and ran.
Yeah.
No, Scotsmen are you're good.
Yeah, we don't.
good.
A real
No.
Scottish person won't claim to be British,
No.
even if
no.
it is.
No,
They'll try
but
to hide it.
man, I got us real off kilter here with Shrek. Okay.
Yeah. I have that effect on people.
So I did want to bring you back into one subject we had earlier, which was the mental game of fighting yourself and fighting the situation if you're in a survival or off-grid situation. Like what are some things you think that would help ground you in those situations, or you would recommend maybe someone trying if they haven't done it themselves?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Always try and talk to yourself. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but try and hit two sides to weigh things out.
Yeah, see reason. I
Yeah.
like it.
I would
Always
agree
be
with that.
prepared from the scouts. Yeah, it's a hard one to. Like I said, I was unprepared coming in, but in a
No, it's
survival
okay.
situation, you need to be clear thinking. You can't be irrational. You need to be yeah.
This is a survival situation you're in right now.
Yeah.
You're surviving this topic.
I don't like it. Well, I guess just, think rationally. Try and be as efficient as you can. You don't want to be fanning about too much.
No, I liked what you said about talking to yourself, because it's easy to get a million thoughts in your head at once. But if you force yourself to actually have a conversation with yourself, it's easier to keep one thing at a time.
Sounds a bit schizophrenic when I say it, but if you try and talk to yourself like there's two people in your head, one of them's actually quite reasonable whilst the other one might be freaking out.
Mm-hmm. No, I would agree.
And then
with
you
that.
sort of weigh it up that way. And then it's like two perspectives. And then you usually come to a good answer or a good, like you come to a good answer to what you're trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question for everyone. This is the last one I want to touch on in this discussion, unless anyone else has anything to bring to the table. But we'll move into Breakpoint Heights next. The question I have is, what would you guys do, or how would you handle, or how would you see it possible that people would be interacting with each other in an off-grid situation? So, like, where would society be at? How would you handle your relationship with society at that point? Because that is something that isn't talked about as much as, okay, well, yep, you got your setup now. What's your home defense? You know, how are you going to protect those resources? What are you logistically going to do? If you leave your property, that's a chance someone can come in and raid you. I mean, that's just the truth.
Yeah.
So
I've already looked at this place here, and short of some kind of armor on the windows and the doors, it's wide open. You know, the fact that I got a lock and I can lock my patio door, it's totally glass. You can just break it, walk right in. So I would need a huge armor type, some kind of armor to keep my house from being penetrated. So I've already considered that. Considering it first has already gotten you past the point of finding out about it later. So I've run scenarios through my head to see what it was. And that's where the having your all your good stuff in your trailer ready to go at the last minute might be the best life-saving defense you can have for whatever property you can take with you.
Yeah, and maybe that good stuff in that situation is raw resource, like gasoline tanks and seeds.
Dehydrated meat.
Exactly.
And
plenty of water and stuff.
Water. Yep. The necessities to get you through the emergency, at least till you can figure out a way forward. But
maybe even one like really fortified safe room as well that you could fall back in, sort of thing.
See, now over at the airport at the hangar, that's different. That's federal, and it will be defended federally. And the building is 100% metal. It doesn't have windows, and there's only 2 doors. Well, 3 doors counting the big one. You get the plane in and out. But only 2 small man doors, so it's more easily defended. So I may just move in there instead.
Yeah. See. Exactly. Yeah. Jeff just takes the courthouse.
Yeah.
It's mine. Put metal in here.
Put my metal in here.
Well, and then also having the hangar there gives the fire department some place to base as well. So
yeah,
and that's my plan in the future, is to keep that building and to make it available to the fire department during fire season.
Heck yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like there's no way that I could defend this property, so I need to be able to have everything I need at another property that I can defend.
Yeah.
And people around here are not like the big city either. They're more apt to help people as opposed to just take what they have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing. If you're in the big city, you're gonna get raided. So
yeah.
Out here, I got a better
situations. Exactly.
I feel like another thing to consider too that I haven't thought about a ton is, I mean, at what point? I mean, I guess when people start trying to take things from you, but because I mean, it's like I picture run the scenario of if something were to happen like right now, I'm in my apartment, I have my neighbors, it's like we are right now a small community. How long is that community? Because I mean, and I might stay, who knows how long I'll stay in it. How long will the denial in a community stay in place of people like help's going to come, this is going to end, it's going to change? I think there's going to be a lot of denial, and there will be a flip point, like an actual cutoff point of where people are like, no, this is actually like my survival is at stake, and they will have let it go a long time and become desperate.
I think it'll start kicking in when they can't feed their kids, especially when you see the youth start to worry. Then inevitably, like, I feel like it trickles into the economy because families have a lot of stake in the local economy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not to say like people like you and I don't, because we're tradesmen and trying to do things in the community as well, but we're a lot more flexible on the nomadic lifestyle rather than them.
Mm-hmm.
When you got young kids to worry about too, that changes the game on how travel looks, how defense looks.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like if having kids would drastically change my actual plan in place, because what I kind of want to do right now, because all my systems have kind of fallen into, like, I used to be way more prepared, but now I know more things as an adult. I have different resources available to me now. But at this point, because I'm looking around my apartment and it's like there's not much here for me as far as survival goes. And I would have to deal with that immediate community around me who know me pretty well and know that I'm not stupid and know that I'm can prepare for these things. So it's like the more you put yourself out as this person that is, has all this stuff ready to go, and that's why you got to be careful about helping people, because it reveals how much resource you have and how much, and if you're willing to give it away. people might think, he has enough that I could take. So it's like, I feel like I would want to start focusing on maybe setting up one of my vehicles to be able to be a bug out vehicle, have food, have to where I can just get in it, go, let this community or whatever community you're in. It's like you got to make it. Yeah, it's like you got to make a decision about your own preparation. Does it make more sense for me to stay in place or for me to move? But if you're going to be prepared to move, you got to have that. I think it should be preset, because I think it would just be tough to be trying to scramble all that stuff together to be able to actually bug out and live nomadically inside of that denial time frame that people are going to have. It's going to be tough to get all that together. You're going to forget things, not have what you need, versus bug out, let the community settle down, and then as you need more resource, reintegrate.
And then someone steals your car.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you run out of gas. It's like there's so many factors to it in that initial time, because once the grid is gone and not coming back, well, I mean, not coming back as in you can't feasibly see it coming back and you need to prioritize your survival, you can start making decisions differently. You can start thinking, okay, like it opens up more freedoms available to you as far as your survival goes.
Depends how long it goes on as well, sorry.
It's true.
Because people get more extreme as well, what they're trying to get, and people get more defensive, more territorial.
Yeah, it's like, I think that there's the initial, dependent on what happens, like there will be initial water crisis if people don't have access to clean water, because that'll take about a week before that's going to get dire, depending on how available clean water is to people. And then, of course, food several weeks later will be the big thing. And then after food, I think it's just amenity. It's like if someone has taken care of water and food, they're going to start looking at like, well, now I need this other. Well, where am I going with this? It's they'll move on to that one thing that they think they need desperately, and they'll desperately try to get it, whether it's shelter, protection, ammo, booze,
water,
drugs,
food, power.
Yeah, it's
water,
like,
food, power,
water,
and
food, power.
protection.
Yeah.
You're always going to get people that want to take what people have as well, and then you get people that try to defend people. So sort of that just, it's a strange one.
Yeah.
I think that's the real. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'll bring up something I brought up last conversation was you can go weeks without food, days without water, and minutes without air, and that's about it. That's the limit of the human body. So if you think in those terms, those are your most immediate needs: is air, water, then food. Everything else, power, the rest of it comes later. Those are all extras.
Like, one thing I would even think to do that would make a lot of sense as far as water goes would be right when you're sort of afraid you might lose water pressure because things are going that bad. It's like, fill your bathtub, fill buckets, just have potable water so that you can, I don't care how dirty your bathtub is, you can use that for cooking, you can use that for all sorts of things. And, water is a tool. And then you can use your water pressure, like once you have your bathtub filled, you can use whatever water pressure is left in your sink until that goes away.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think one of the real secrets to the community question is having this hard discussion and forming a plan with your network, with a community. Find people that know how to do things. Find a diversified set of skills and resources, and legitimately plan with these people. Because, I mean,
there are a set of people that will always help other people, and then there are a set of people that will never and only take.
Yeah, so, and it's like you got to find the people who are going to give, and then if we can all give together, you can protect from the ones who want to take. I feel like that's more important than we think, is having an actual plan inside of the community that you want to build of people you trust to be able to overcome this as a group. I mean, we were talking about when you're in a wilderness survival situation, having one other person or having a team makes a huge difference. I think in a grid down, I think having a team or having a community would be the make or break.
Yep.
But it's all about if you can keep that community on the right track. I think that'll be a tough thing too.
Yeah, there will be the ones that are on the edge. They want to help, but when things get really, really, really tough, then they're out for themselves at that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But,
tough to build it.
it's reality in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got to go. I have to provide the goodies in church today. So
Nice.
Good man.
if I don't show up, there's going to be a lot of people wondering about me and wondering what they're going to have for breakfast. So, they have to go in one of those grid down, no food situations.
Yeah, powdered eggs for everyone. Yeah.
No, thanks for being here.
Yeah, it
glad
was great.
you were able to be part of the discussion.
Yeah, it's great to meet you, NT.
Yeah, same here.
And Red,
Well-
have a good day.
Oh yeah, I'll let her know for you. She had to take off, but
Oh, yeah. All right. Great conversation, and see you guys next time.
yes.
Peace,
See
man.
ya,
Take
man.
care.
Take
Have a
care.
good one.
Well, as far as this discussion goes, I think we're able to move on. I heard what you guys were talking on, and I think that was great. I don't really have too much to add. It is definitely human nature to have the yin yang of it, the good and the bad.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I do think it's going to come down to how valuable you are. If people see
Yeah.
that you can craft things and build things, I don't think they want to kill you. I think they definitely would find more incentive in trying to protect you or barter with you and try to work on that. But if you're someone who's just, I need water. I can't find water. Are you kidding me? You don't want to give me some of yours? Just that mentality's got to go, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be doing that and being
Instantly
hasty.
banished.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're in a commune. Like, that community says go.
Yeah.
Live.
You must contribute.
You have drank 2 gallons of water in a day. What is with you?
Thing is, with a situation like that, I think hierarchies will always form. There'll always be someone trying to be in charge, and it depends on them as well, how they manage stuff. Because everybody's going to look up for somebody to take charge.
Yeah. I think, even though it is definitely over the top in some ways, the Metro series is a pretty good look into how society could operate if it was really cut off from direct links to resources, being pressed by a threat or even just being pressed by their own infighting. Mm-hmm. That's what really makes Metro interesting to read about. And there's of course the book series on it and the games, but the books go way more in depth on that struggle, and it's something I want to get into and get that series myself, because I find similarities in that same kind of situation in how you would rationalize like an off-grid situation where whatever resource is valuable there is going to be what is up for market trade and what people really fight over. Like maybe that is control of a region, just control to have that last grasp of nationalism that's there.
Right.
Because there's always going to be that part too. Is the radicalization of, okay, well, we need to form our doctrine again. We need to go back to what we were.
Mm-hmm. I'll be interested to see. I talk like it's going to happen. It's that would be interesting for me to observe. Would be the reclamation process, and because obviously things would be so different and people would get so used to having to live in this day-to-day survival So it's like, how do you like here's a great movie that this makes me think of is The Postman with Kevin Costner. That is a great movie and a really fun look into what we're talking about of like this resurgence of society where survival has been met, and now we're sort of looking at trying to develop these communities. It takes an interesting look at that, and I almost feel like this could be another interesting offshoot topic from this would be talking on some of the hypothetical and the speculation of what the socioeconomic, like the socio-political structure of the communities that might form. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that might form out of a grid down situation, because it's one of those things that we all kind of like to speculate about. There's a lot of media about it too, about these. It's like, it's interesting to sort of try to think about where, like, what direction this community would actually go inside of those pressing, dire situations.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah, I agree as well.
And it's also something it's a concept that's almost hard to research, because it's hard to find actual like information and recording in these types of times, because that kind of stuff goes out the window when survival becomes the priority.
Well, I don't even think like a feudal society would be bad necessarily in that kind of situation.
No, especially if everyone's on board. A feudal society where community and survival are the goal, because I think humanity spent a long time in that realm. Humanity spent
Well, no, it's just maybe it's my Irish roots, like where I'm cool with just being a gong farmer and for the cause, like shoot, you guys need cleaned up. I'm gonna get in there. Give me some candles. Okay, I got you my fancy Reese's Pieces shake here. Yeah, okay, I take your poop now. And got down the road and like, oh yeah, I got a tax, like sure, but I get water. I shovel his poop too. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be me in the apocalypse, though. I'm gonna be like, poop. Ooh, I could use that.
Poop shoveler.
It's like Pookie.
Yeah. Every resource will become important.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll just jump in quickly because I need to go now. I like I said to Camo, I'm only here briefly today, but I'll need to get in properly for the next one.
No, heck yeah.
No, we're glad to have you.
Sorry, I just had to jump in. I was busy all day, and then.
No, you're good. You're all good.
Yeah.
I just saw you in the voice call over there. I was like, yeah, you better come over here.
Yeah, I got summoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was nice speaking to you again, and I'll jump into the next one if I can.
No, sounds good, brother. We'll figure something out. Outcast will be here next week too, so.
Yeah, no problem. Be good to catch up. So I'll see you all later, and thanks for having me. Take care.
Hey, take care of yourself, brother.
Take care.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and go into Breakpoint Heights, and just kind of, since there's only three of us here, and NT, I'm glad you're here. Actually, this will be a good point for you, to kind of partake. Do we have any highlight points? Like, what's the highlight of our conversation? I would say, personally, for myself, it would be knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are going to be. Self-analysis, all the time, ideally, is important, even if that just means, am I getting enough sleep? Because inevitably, if you don't get enough sleep, say you wake up, you're hungover, whatever, and the grid falls apart. You're like, oh man,
yeah. My apartment's a mess. There's
like, yeah. Like, that's not great, dude.
Yeah.
So you gotta, like, a sense of preparedness is important. Even if it's 50% preparedness, it's still preparedness. It's still a step in a direction that should lead you towards more success if you find that situation to be a prominent problem. But how about you, Chad? What do you think?
We talked about it earlier on when we were talking about the mental, like the mental game, the mental fortification of yourself inside of a either lost in the woods or a grid down situation. And I really liked what was said about having confidence in yourself. Like if you're in a survival or grid down situation, having confidence in your ability to survive. I think having a plan in place is equally as important. And then I think the real trick is to have a plan and be confident in that plan. And if you don't have a plan, be confident in yourself. But I think that's the real takeaway: is be confident. Be confident in your ability to survive and your ability to improvise, as well as your ability to plan. I think that is the biggest takeaway for how to get yourself through an ordeal like that, would be to be confident and stay positive.
I absolutely agree. Now, NT, what's your highlight point?
I mean, Sam pretty much spoke most of my ideas, but it's pretty much going to be one massive mental game, because obviously you're not going to have what you have right now. So you're going to have to figure out how. You have to find out how to do it a similar way, or somehow just shove that out of the way per se until whenever the grid comes back, if it comes back. But pretty much you need to figure out what did our ancestors do before we even had the grid, and all these other fancy toys. I'm just going to call it everything that we have for convenience nowadays. So we just take it all for granted anyway. So I mean, find out what your ancestors did, and then just go from there. Will be my say. But as you pretty much said, and I'm pretty much rehashing, it's going to be one massive mental game.
Yeah. No, I think it all culminates. We see a very central point to all of this, that it really comes down to how prepared you are mentally to enact on those steps, to take initiative. So let's go ahead and move into the diving depths. Now, are there any points in this conversation that really spoke to you, like where you feel like you're going to take something away from it? And is there anything you felt that way about NT?
Well, one thing for sure, I'm surprised no one talked about it, was the ash part. Using the ash for a way for cleaning yourself, because once you run out of your bottle of shampoo or body wash or whatever you use, you're not going to have any more, assuming that the stores all ran dry. Because, so I mean, and I'm going to pretty assume you're going to be making a fire every day now to cook something.
Yeah.
So you're going to have plenty of ash. So I think that's a nice one. No one talks about it. No one, actually, to be honest, no one even thinks about it.
Yeah. No, it is one of those things that if you're away from that lifestyle, doing that, for survival, or even just to make a product from it, I find myself forgetting about that one. Mm-hmm. But that's a really vital one.
Well, staying clean in a grid down, and I mean, we talked about it a little bit in the last session about staying clean in a survival situation and how it's important. I think it's also very important in grid down, because if you can keep your body clean, you can keep your pores clean, you can keep keep from developing something that could make survival even more difficult, and just keeping clean to avoid infection, because there's not going to be a lot of medical resource available to us like there is now. We didn't talk about that a lot today, but staying clean will help with that process. I had this book next to me because this is something that I have on hand. But
oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. Okay. As far as, we'll kind of swing it all the way back around to the start to like when we were talking about resources and about I can't remember the engagement outpost. That's it. Having a medical book, like because this one, I got this a long time ago for EMT class. I got trained as an EMT, and so that's why I have this book. But having a medical reference guide or an emergency care reference guide in your arsenal, just in your life, but in having it in a grid down situation is going to be so paramount because it gives you a reference to be able to handle various emergency situations that you might find yourself in. And I think it's more important than people think to have a field reference guide. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I wholly agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's turned into one of those things that gets viewed down upon because it changes so much.
Yeah. But at that point, on grid down, I'll take a medical reference guide from like the 1970s. At that point, I'd be like, I need something to do. But
Yeah.
as far as my diving depth from this conversation goes, I think it has a lot to do for me with preparedness and complacency, because I need to put more contingencies in place for this. Because I have the confidence. It's like I'm like, oh yeah, I'll probably survive, But it's like that's not gonna be enough to truly do it.
Yeah.
I gotta have that in. Like I said, you gotta have a plan. And so it's like I just want to get more contingency and more preparation in place before I really feel like I can talk like, oh yeah, I'm gonna survive for at least a while. Right now, I think I'll survive a little while just off the skin of my teeth and just off of like,
Rob McCoy.
Yes. But having real plans in place and having real resources available to you is a force multiplier. That's my depth.
Yeah, that's a good one. No, and I'd say definitely being prepared, taking steps towards that preparedness, and that comes down to getting your resources collected too. I think that's the one thing I've really wanted to focus on, because you can do that without having a lot of money. You can do research. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, there's ways to do all this on a budget. It doesn't have to break the bank. It just depends on how much you're willing to do it. Think about it,
Yeah, and I mean, I have these podcasts too.
Yeah.
So
how creative
these podcasts are always going to have or be a resource because I have the files.
That's true.
So yeah, there's some power behind media when it comes to having open discussion, and at least in that situation you can go back to your roots of when you were grounded and then look back at that and like, oh, okay, so this is how that mindset was. Mm-hmm. We've got to settle back in to locking into what direction we need to be going.
Right.
That's healthy for us. So, but with that said, I think there's only one step left here, and that is Reflections Retreat. It's been a while since we've been here. So I wanted to go ahead and reflect on since you've been here for both parts too, Chad, you'll be able to reflect more. What did you think of having a 2-part discussion on this?
I really liked the 2-part discussion. I really liked being able to sort of separate the wilderness survival mentality and then also talk about the off-grid, because I think they really are 2 different discussions, but they so well go hand in hand about that mental game and about that just being prepared. I think off-grid preparedness happens on a larger scale than wilderness survival preparedness has to happen, but it's still so important on both of those. And so it was really fun to get to sort of tie back into our previous episode as we're talking here. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too, and I felt like we can kind of go with this format again and maybe open our subjects up to 2 parts more often, because that way we're able to go through everyone's discussion points at a moderate pace too, where we're not so flooded when there's a bigger group of us. Lately, we've been lucky. You know, there hasn't been a huge group, but having people like Aziz and NT here, I loved it today. And NT, I'm really happy and fortunate that you came into the show to participate with us. And hey, you made it to the end, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome, and thank you for having me.
And is there anything that you really enjoyed about the show today?
I mean, this is my first. I mean, with me being I'm going to go back a little bit. With this being the first show I actually joined, I can't really say much. To be honest, I mean, it was enjoyable. I mean, especially now being able to talk to everybody, and I'm guessing all the viewers get to hear my unpreparedness of being here per se.
Hey.
I mean, I enjoyed it, to be honest. Even if I couldn't bring much to the table, it was still an enjoyable experience hearing what everybody else had to say and actually getting some ideas that no one else has talked about.
Well, you're always welcome back on the show, NT, anytime, and I appreciated your opinion on the subject matter. In all seriousness, it's wonderful to kind of, I think, be exposed to something new and have a little bit of a challenge every now and then. This has proved to be a good, healthy challenge for us, and bringing people in. I feel like it's good to see you guys getting out of your comfort zones a little bit and you know, expanding out of what you maybe usually think about at 8 a.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah, I got to remember about these shows, to be honest.
Oh, it's okay. It's just podcasting world. People remember 10 years later and they're like, oh, I'm going to watch all these right now. And it just happens. And with that said, I think we're about ready to close out for the day and enjoy our Sunday. So I appreciate you, Chad and NT, for being here today. And I think that was a wonderful survival discussion. And, you know, maybe we'll return to this down the road and come to it with a different perspective, see how they weigh together. So, but as for now, the grid is still online. We are on the grid.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we're gonna make it work. You know, we're gonna just make it. We're gonna just make it.
We're gonna make it. Yeah.
As I'm saying, use it while you still can, because one day you'll wake up and yep, we're done.
Yeah.
Nope. Exactly. But you know, staying hopeful, staying real.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
staying real.
It's a balance. So, but thank you guys. I appreciate you viewers for trekking along with us, and if you made it this far, thank you. Hope you enjoyed the content of today's show and the adventure that we were on. Now, we will see you on our next one. And I think it may be another interview. We'll see. So, until then, take care.